Hey guys, it's Colin with Ghost Train Comics, and today we are kicking off our series of Spotlight on New Creators with Ty Creates Things, creator, founder of The Different. I had the pleasure of talking to Ty a couple of times over the last week. I'm very excited about this opportunity that Ty has created and how things have gone for him and his Kickstarter so far. So I hope you enjoyed this. I would love to get your feedback and comments. Ty did mention that he will reach out to some other people who are asking him for advice as well. So hopefully we can get them on future spotlights on new creators here at Ghost Train Comics. But enjoy the interview, guys. Thanks. So, guys, I'm delighted to be here with Ty from Ty Creates Things, who is on Kickstarter at the moment. Ty, you got some exciting news on a milestone this week, right?
um, which one? Sorry, not
I
to
know
boast.
you're getting
um,
virally hit left, right, and
y-
center with good news on this. Tell us,
yeah.
share
Uh,
with us the good news.
Thank you, Colin. So, for everybody who hasn't met me, I'll just give a quick introduction. Hi, my name's Tyler Raymond, and I'm the writer and creator of the comic book series The Different. And The Different's all about learning to love yourself, accepting your flaws, and most importantly, it's okay being different. So, some of the milestones that I hit this weekend, I'm proud to share. I had a video on TikTok about my comic book, but didn't reveal enough. So I got thousands of comments asking about it. Currently, it's sitting at 2.5 million views. My TikTok
Oof.
channel, I know, the TikTok channel grew from 4,000 to almost 24,000. My Kickstarter campaign and my original goal was only to reach 2 grand. We're $75 short of 4 grand, which is insane. The Kickstarter ends in like 5 hours of us recording this. So in the future, I'll have other ways where people can, if they want to pick up the comic, to get it. And I was happy to announce that I was featured. So I'm from central and upstate New York, but lower part of New York, Binghamton. A news reporter found me on TikTok and interviewed me, and that was shown on the 6 o'clock news the other day. So that was really cool.
Amazing.
Thank
That
you.
that's fantastic, and that's also a good kind of a lead in. Now that we've got everybody's attention, Ty, tell us a little bit about how you arrived at this place and what your comic is about, and what actually made you take the step of actually doing it and getting this far.
It feels surreal. Uh,
Mm.
uh, I'll just say that I had a big case of imposter syndrome the past couple weeks. I'm still waiting for somebody to pinch me and prove to me
Mhm.
that this is all real. And I'll lead it into this too because money is money, but the biggest thing that has resonated with me is all of the kind messages, and people are so caring and kind and supportive. And it just like this message, and I'll explain why this message resonates with so many people. And I'll like it just resonates with so many people, and that's what really means the most to me. So I got into this. It all started back 10 years ago in high school. So a bit about me: I have ADHD, and growing up, I'm sure a lot of people can relate, but high
Sure.
school is not always easy, especially if you're
Yeah.
different. So I was the kid that talked too much, and it was hard for me to make connections and meet new friends. So, for example, I I had to pick up the hobby of liking American sports, like the NFL, just to have people to talk to every morning before class started. And I
Sure.
used to entertain the people that weren't so kind to me behind my back just to make connections. But
Mm.
so I think of it like a math problem. So that my experiences in my life, plus I've always been a big media consumer. I love Marvel and DC. I go to Marvel
Mm.
movies every time when they come out. I'm looking forward to the new Spider-Man movie that's coming out,
Hmm.
and Avengers Doomsday with Robert
Yeah.
Downey Jr. That looks really good. I always love consuming cartoons and comic books and just anything you can imagine as a kid.
Yeah.
And I think it's a culmination of that. But what really inspired me to make it was these characters that we've all idolized and loved growing up. they're not always relatable. Like they're not, you can't always have an intimate connection with them. And through my experiences in my life and other things I've known through my parents and friends and other people that have gone through things, I wanted to make a piece of media that uplifted people that have ever felt different, that have ever
Sure.
felt like they didn't belong, that they've ever felt maybe something negative about themselves or something that they had to hide or they had shame about. I wanted to make
Hmm.
something that felt very relatable, and its core nature was all about just about loving yourself and loving who we really are and who that
Yeah.
is. We're all different, and being different is a great thing. So it took a long
Amazing.
time coming. And when I first, so it's ironic. I'll tell you a little story, Colin.
Hmm.
10 years ago, when I made the first character, the Stone Golem, I never pictured it then. But it's funny too because my art teacher that I had the class in, he actually ended up becoming a backer for the campaign. So
Oh, wow.
that was a full circle moment for me. That was pretty cool. But I never pictured it then. But all it takes sometimes is an idea and a passion and an
Yeah.
experience to culminate together to create something new and create something I'm really proud of. So
Awesome. And you had mentioned in a previous conversation how you got the artist, because I feel that would be a piece
yeah,
that a lot of people listening would be wondering, well, it's all good and well, and I love your story, but how do I replicate this?
yeah. Thank you. Okay, so what I love about it most is you don't need to be the world's best blank to accomplish something, to achieve your dreams, to just make something. I've said before, but life's too short. Like if you believe in something strong enough, if you're passionate about something, if you have something in your heart, in your mind that's telling you, hey, you want to pursue this, so go do it. Nothing's stopping you. You're the only person holding you back. So a bit about me too. Back in that art class, I used to do art. I don't do it
Mhm.
anymore. I really regret. I wish I did. I wish I
Yeah.
kept up with it so I could draw these characters myself. But so I hired, and I'll explain this too. The internet is an amazing place, and
Mhm.
you can find anything on the internet. And what ended up happening for me was I was very fortunate. I did a lot of research when looking into making this comic book, and I found somebody off Reddit who had hired the phenomenal Nico Torren at Picasso Made Comics on Instagram.
Mm.
He's amazing. He actually just posted the other day a couple screen grabs of covers that he did for me. So I thought that was pretty cool. But
Wow.
thanks. So I found somebody that had previously commissioned him, and I was fortunate enough to get the information of the artist you worked with, and then I messaged Nico, begged and pleaded at first, hey, please, I love your art style. We need to work together. I told him my ideas for everything. He really appreciated, enjoyed the concept, and it's a collaboration match made in heaven. But the point with this is look up underrated artists, find those people that don't have big followings, look all over the internet, and because you never know who's out there, and all it takes is to make the right idea and to find the right pair, and you're off the ground. Like
Yeah.
that's all it takes. And I'm very fortunate. Like obviously, art costs money, but I'm very fortunate to find an artist who not only believed in my idea, but has been super accommodating and flexible. You know,
Well,
but
that's yeah, and that's I mean really fortuitous, and you obviously put in the work and the research, and we're lucky enough to find somebody who's on the same wavelength. Without going into details,
mhm.
um, what would you say to people who are wondering the same thing? And did you research, what pay rate is fair before you talk to him, or what you should expect to aim for in the stretch
Yeah.
goal?
So that's really good advice for anybody that wants to get into a field where it involves a
Hmm.
lot of like a creative process. So I think I think like the general rate, obviously it depends. Like I'm not Marvel. I don't have the Marvel budget, but
Sure.
the going rate typically for comic books right now is around like $100 typically a page. Like it varies. So I was fortunate with Nico. He was on the smaller side of that, where I didn't have
Mm.
to pay exactly that. But again, to my point about finding artists, look everywhere because you don't like like I said, the only person holding yourself back is yourself. If you want
Yeah.
to do something, who's to tell you to say that you can't, right? And you don't have to be physically gifted at one thing to create something totally different. Like I feel like we're all big pieces of the same puzzle here. Like we just need to
Yeah.
find each other and work on something that means a lot to us. So I was very fortunate to find Nico, and he's been incredible. I already have issue 2 written. I'm just waiting on my editor. Then I'm sending him 47 pages of awesomeness
Wow.
to get drawn. I know. I can't wait. It's super exciting,
And
but
let's
I love
say
it. Yeah.
let's say I'm Tom Brevoort at Marvel and you're at a local con in
Yeah.
Buffalo, and he says, "Oh, hey, I saw you in an interview. I've seen some buzz around you. Can you tell me? I have a couple of minutes. Can you give me a quick rundown of what your comic is?" And
Oh. Oh, okay. My elevator pitch, putting me on the spot.
yeah,
You got it. Okay. So the different is all about I mentioned before, it teaches the reader over a span of many issues how to be more comfortable with yourself, loving yourself,
hmm,
accepting in all parts of you that other people might not be so, I can't think of a good placeholder word, but
sure.
every part of you is amazing. And this comic book is a piece of media that uplifts others in a spot where in today's time, people that are different don't always get that love and that feedback and that
Hmm.
uplifting, and it follows. That's why I made it, because I'm different and I want to make something that helps other people that are different. But the story itself follows people. It parallels why. So in today's world, people, like, I'll just give examples: your gender identity, your sexuality, your race, everything. Typically, if you're different, although it shouldn't be this way, differences could be a way that people get harassed or get put down. So I use that symbolism, that parallel in this comic book. The only difference is in this world, people are more accepting unless you have superpowers. So these people, they're humans first, they're superheroes second. They don't know each other, but they all converge in Manhattan, New York City, to help protect, and save others, despite the fact that they're different. So the
Yeah,
people they're saving, they're afraid of them. They don't exactly trust them because they're different and have superpowers in this world.
yeah,
And another thing about it too, like I said, they're humans first. We're all different. We all have baggage. We have all had different walks of life, different experiences that have shaped and molded us. These
hmm,
characters do too. So some of that includes abusive parents, trauma,
sure.
like different things that have all shaped us, things that we're all working towards trying to overcome in our lives. These characters are not only going through that and trying to heal, but they're doing that while facing the adversity of being picked on and being turned down and being harassed and
Yeah,
just not having kindness shown towards them because they're different. So it's a
yeah,
lot, but I love it so much. It's a good culmination of like real world storytelling, but it gives hope and positivity for people that are looking for something to cling on to. Like if you're different, I
yeah,
know from my experience, being different, all I've ever wanted is representation and acceptance, knowing that it's
yeah.
okay to be myself. And this is something that really brings that in others. So
Yeah, no, that's awesome.
thank you.
How far does the Kickstarter take you? Is that just for the first issue, or is
Yeah.
that okay?
Yeah, so I can totally explain it. So Kickstarter, that's an amazingly wonderful, but also very convoluted and complicated
Mm,
website. And basically, it's the first campaign. It offers a bunch of different tiers. If you like purely digital, if you like reading comics online, we have that. If you like
mm,
physical copies where I can actually make it out to you and sign it, we have those options. If you're somebody that likes to collect everything, we've got posters, bookmarks, trading cards, and stickers.
okay.
So it's got everything. I know it's only just the beginning with the first issue, but when videos go viral on TikTok, everybody
Hmm.
starts jumping like sharks in the water toward the campaign. So we're sitting at just under 150 backers, which is I can't even believe. That's insane.
It's
And
amazing.
just under thank you, and just under 4 grand raised. So I'm looking forward to investing it all back into the campaign and going even stronger with the second issue.
Yeah. So I have two follow-up questions on
Yeah,
that one, which the first one is what is the next step after this? After you get the issues
yeah.
out, and you gave a time frame earlier, And then when do you get the Mark Brooks, Scotty Young, Peach Momoko variant cover set up with foil?
Oh, that's good. I love that. So with the timeline, everybody's different. I always had in my head a timeline of like late August. I'm fortunate that it's going to be a
Mhm.
little bit earlier for that, but everything I'm expected, the timeline for that is once this campaign ends at like 12 o'clock tonight, midnight, I'm going to be sending out updates, asking people to fill out a survey to give me their shipping info. I'm
Yeah,
going to be sending updates, packaging orders. I'm waiting on a couple more orders to come in from Mixum. That's the company I use as the publisher distributor. But just for
mm,
extra covers because I couldn't keep track. I only ordered 75. I thought that was gonna
yeah,
be enough, but now I'm at 140. But my
amazing.
next thank you, Colin. I really appreciate it. My next steps and the best part about success is it's like a ball rolling. You can keep the
Yeah,
momentum going. So my next goals and my next steps with this campaign are going to be making a TikTok shop for anybody that didn't get the opportunity to buy the comic now. Hopefully later can. I'm going to be pitching to publishers because I feel like I have a very unique
sure.
idea, and I'm hoping I can get it in front of other people. But if not, I'll just ride solo. No issue in that.
Yeah,
I
yeah,
Yeah, there are a lot of local comic book stores that I like to frequent, and I'm hoping from the success of the campaign, the viral video, the bigger TikTok account, the news coverage, I'm hoping I can
yeah.
culminate that to explain, hey, this is my pitch. This is why it's gaining success. And maybe I'll even give them a shout out on the channel if they choose to accept it. But
No, absolutely.
yeah,
And I mean, we can do a follow-up on here
yeah.
to a check-in, which is what I intended this
Oh, I would love
kind
it.
of this segment or this space to be for, each month kind of check in on people we've talked to and then introduce something new as we go along. Um, and what is your next step after this? Have you thought ahead to
Yeah,
any of the projects, or are you just
yeah.
busy making sure this one gets all your attention at
So
the moment?
yeah. So I think a little bit of both. I have to don't let me forget. We gotta mention you mentioned the second part of the question about alternate covers and artists and stuff like
Yes.
that. I'll mention that
Yep.
too. But I definitely like so TikTok is a great place. And I think when you reach a wide audience, it comes with a large, wide audience of ideas. So
Mm,
people have already mentioned animations, movies, TV
mm,
shows, and I just don't have the time or budget for that yet. That's
sure.
not
You
that I
don't have
don't
a
want to do
team.
it. Yeah,
Yeah.
like I just drew a rocket ship on a piece of paper. It's not even off the ground yet, you know? Like that's the best
Yeah.
metaphor I could think of with it. But as far as right now, my main focus is just like putting all the love and attention and energy and effort this comic deserves, and just to tell a great story for a wide audience of people to really uplift everybody, you know?
Yeah.
And I really want my next goal on TikTok besides the TikTok shop. I actually saw this really cool trend. It's about I'm a big fan of like niche and like old school and small entertainment, if that makes sense.
Hmm.
And there's this great trend on TikTok where it's as simple as going through a comic book and like showing highlighting panels.
Sure.
But what people have done is they could put dialogue and voice actors over it. So that's
Hmm.
what one of my next goals is, besides focusing on the next campaign and getting issue two out and everything, is trying to highlight some small voice actors and really like feel very immersive into the
Yeah.
first issue. I think that'd be really cool. Oh, okay. So it's that other part, like you said, with the alternate covers. We didn't
The
forget.
pink
Yeah.
foil variant cover that you're going to have, I believe Mark Brooks, you have lined up, Peach Momoko, Nick Dragoda,
Not those
and
names, not yet.
Hayden
Um,
Sherman, right?
so
Let's
I should
aim
have wrote this
high,
down.
Ty. Let's aim for the sky
Yeah,
and see where
I'll
we
aim
end
for
up.
everybody. One thing I've learned, and I'll plug this back into advice for my fellow creators. Do your research on prices, because
Yeah,
prices can get very expensive. Something I learned today is the price of a commission doesn't always include the price of merchandising rights.
right.
So a couple I don't have their names on me. I can send them to you later if you want to like put their names in and stuff. And
Sure.
their artwork's fantastic. No discredit or disservice to Nico, but sometimes when you fall in love with like an art style, you're like, man, I need to get something made by that. I have two artists right now I'm looking to collaborate with. One did an alternate cover for the Ben 10 comic series that's out right now. And they did the one of the Diamond Head variants. I just love the attention to detail. So I was like, oh, I know they can absolutely nail the Stone Golem in that sense. And
Mm,
another artist I found on Twitter, she does like very high detailed illustrations of women, almost like,
mm.
I try not to use the term like pinup women, but
Yeah,
like when you think of like just like attention to detail and the face and the body, just like everything's perfect.
sure.
Like she draws women so great, and I can't think. I want to think of like a more like appropriate way to say that.
No, I get what you're saying, and it's
Yeah,
right. Like we don't want to, just go down the old kind of tired 90s image,
yeah, but
over
she, yeah,
exploitation, or exploitative route, or just
yeah,
cheesecake for the sake of it in bad Rob Liefeld style proportions. So I
yeah,
get that. If you have a
but she,
female
yeah,
artist who understands anatomy, that's
exactly.
the best situation.
Yeah, so she draws art amazing, and I'm a big like I love Invincible, and I first found
Yeah.
her artwork drawing Adam Eve, and so it's
Oof.
specifically, I know Adam Eve is a baddie,
I know I have
but
the trade
yeah,
for the Invincible Universe one, and her on the
yeah,
cover is just absolutely superb.
yeah. So it was specifically, I'm trying to get to off the tangent, but it was
Sure.
after Adam Eve gains a little weight, but she just drew her
Yeah.
fantastic. It gave her very like appropriate dimensions, like what
Yeah.
she should have looked like. And I just fell in love with it. And I was like, oh my gosh, I know you could draw him for an incredible. So those two artists who I'm hoping to get something done, I still gotta figure out the merchandising rates with them because alternate alternate covers make sales, posters make sales. But I'm a big believer of, if you love your characters and love what you do, life is too short to not splurge a little bit and get the extra stuff made. It's worth it in the end.
No, I hope it works out. I love
Thank
the
you.
ambition. I love how far you've gotten already. We'll before we do end it here, any last messages that you just want to shout out to anybody, or anything that you want to make sure that we get in?
Yeah, absolutely. I appreciate you mentioning that. And I'll tie it back into one thing. So we mentioned off call about how I was fortunate enough to be on an interview with the news in Binghamton,
Yes,
the news. And one thing, and it's okay that not everything gets put in a news segment, but this wasn't
sure,
featured. And now that I have the platform to mention it, and thank you for that, I
sure.
really want to mention it. When it was originally discussed, Andrew was like, how can people support you? And for support for me is a funny word. So that goes beyond buying a comic book. So I only made this comic book because the world we live in right now isn't perfect yet. We live in a world where if you're different, unfortunately, you're still facing adversity and things aren't exactly quite easy for everybody. And support for me means so much to a fact that, like, if we, like, for example, your neighbor, everybody has neighbors. If
Sure.
you just look at your neighbor and the first thing that came to your head might, like, if it wasn't something honest or positive, consider changing your mindset, right? And
Yeah.
I'm all about acceptance and I'm all about representation. And my main goal with making this not only is to heal a part of me that hadn't had the real genuine support I needed growing up, like in school. It's just to help anybody that ever needed that. So,
Yeah.
biggest thing for me, support wise, it's not about buying the comic. It's not about supporting the Kickstarter campaign. It's just about loving one another and accepting other people. And you know what? I see it all the time on the news. I see it all the time on Twitter or social media or on the street where people are bickering with each other and getting into arguments and discussions and heated, like
Hmm.
culminated hate where it doesn't need to be that. And I
Right.
just like, I'm gonna keep making the comic book until things get better. But like my goal is to just like, if I can uplift others, if I can change somebody's mind, if I can
Hmm.
give a little boy who talks too much like me with ADHD the
Hmm.
reassurance that it's okay to be yourself, or if I can give some bitter person that looks at a minority or looks at somebody with purple hair a bad
Sure.
way and gets them to change their mind, then my mission was a success. Like money aside, money isn't everything. Like,
Right.
I'm all about love and acceptance, so that's what really
Gotcha.
matters the most to me.
No, I love it.
Thank you.
It's very refreshing to have a positive message attached to
Thanks.
it,
I know.
as well as you've been a good hype man getting your material out there. But Ty, I will go ahead and let you go. I know you're busy, ma'am, but thank you for taking the time again
Anytime.
to
My
do
pleasure.
this. And just a quick reminder, guys, that as one of the initiatives that Ghost Train Comics was founded to follow through with, we do want to give new creators a spotlight and a platform and a chance to get some more information, some more publicity about their books and their projects out there. It's super difficult to know where to start when you're starting. So anything that we can do to help spread the word and to help get the publicity out there and get the information to you guys so that you can all see what these people are bringing to the table and give them a chance as well, and hopefully enjoy it. But thank you so much for watching, and I look forward to you joining us for future sessions. Thanks. Bye-bye.